Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome. Hopefully you got a sandwich and a bottle of water. In fact, I'm going to grab myself a bottle of water over here. My name's Brent Gove, and about half of you in the room I know, about half of you I do not. Welcome. Great to see everybody. Real quick, for those of you that are just learning about EXP, I hope today is a life-changing moment for you. And I know for me, 22 months ago, I took a call from a friend of mine out of Dallas. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, Brent, have you heard of EXP?" I'm like, "Nope." And she said, they're going to change real estate as we know it in North America, which is a big statement. No one's ever called me and said that before. And I'm like, yeah, right. You know, I was at Keller Williams and had a big team, 18 agents, 13 buyer's agents, or 12, and 6 listing specialists. Pretty good-sized team, right? And happy... Don't rock the boat. You know, I can roll into office at 10, leave at 3, and take Fridays off to golf and not work on the weekends. Life is good. And she says, well, would you at least look at EXP and evaluate it and give me your opinion? And I made the biggest mistake of my life. I'm like, oh, sure, you want my opinion? She said, I heard you speak. I was very impressed with you. I pretty much would do anything for her at that moment, right? And so, you're impressed with me? What do you want? You know, I never hear that. And so all I hear from
woman's mouth.
Yeah, what I hear from my wife is, "Please take the trash out."
Exactly.
You know, so I sat down and watched this EXP thing with a terrible name, and it said, really, I hated the letters. Now I love those 3 letters, but and she said, I took a look at it, knowing that I would not be interested. But she was polite and professional. And some of you came here today because someone was polite and professional and asked you to take a look at EXP. And you came, and like me, you know you're not going to be interested, but you heard there's a free food. and your good friend asked you to at least look. And you have just made the biggest mistake of your life. I say that kidding. But Jay Kinder, very successful real estate agent out of Texas, says once you see it, you can't unsee it. You're like, is this for real? Are they really doing what they're doing? And I'm telling you, 22 months later, this is for real. This is the real deal. And when I got started with EXP, I think it was 22 months now. James, correct me, I've been saying 1,700 agents. It was actually 1,400 agents, right, James?
Yeah.
1,400 agents. Last January, about 14 months later, it was 6,500 from 1,400 agents. Today, that was just last January. Today is August. We're coming up on, 15,000 agents. We've already doubled since January the size of our company. And we'll end the year around 24,000 agents. But if you follow that growth out, next year, no problem, over 50,000. The year after that, over 100,000. We'll be the second largest real estate company in North America. But we shattered all records. We got there in half the time of RE/MAX, half the time of Keller Williams. And really, RE/MAX and Keller Williams have been 2 of the most powerful real estate models to hit the market. RE/MAX with their 100% program in the 70s, if you know the history of RE/MAX. And Keller Williams with their capping model, where they look, we'll stop taking money from you as agents and brokers. And really, Keller Williams came out in the 70s. RE/MAX came out in the 70s. Keller Williams came out in the 80s. And there's been no innovation since. There's really been no powerful innovation since the 1980s, which, by the way, if you're doing your math, it's like 40 years ago. And so enter EXP, and you're going to see why this company is changing lives. So let's go ahead and jump into it. And it really starts with this right here, the agent-owned cloud brokerage. We own it together. My background, 22 years in real estate. My first 12 years was at RE/MAX. My last 8 years prior to EXP was at Keller Williams. I changed brokerages 1 time in 2 decades. Same mortgage person for 12 years, escrow officer for 14, same wife for 27, okay? I'm pretty stable, you know? Anyways, so let's talk about what the big deal is. I never owned RE/MAX. I never owned Keller Williams. You own your brokerage. And the funny thing is real estate agents are telling people, buy a home. Develop some what? Equity. Don't be left with nothing after renting for 20, 30 years. But as agents, what do? We rent. Well, it's confusing. It's hard to own a company and blah, 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 blah. And those things are true unless you're at EXP. So let's get into it. See if I can use the clicker right. This man is an absolute genius. I just got off the phone with Darren Jacklin from British Columbia, Canada. And I'm walking in here and he's telling me how absolutely brilliant Glenn Sanford is. He's a Steve Jobs. He's a Jeffrey Bezos of Amazon. He's one of these special people who is just gifted and absolutely brilliant. He is also the founder of EXP in 2009 in the middle of the market crash. He figured out what the problem is with real estate companies. And it's the problem with every business in America. It's called what? Overhead, right? Why did Amazon come out with books and put Borders out of business? And by the way, I don't know how Barnes & Noble is going to make it this year. I have friends who work it there. They went from 40 employees at each Barnes & Noble to 4. They can't get the books out of their showroom out into the bins. And of course, Amazon's gone into every other thing besides books, right? Look at travel. We all went to travel to get our tickets to Hawaii or the Caribbean. How many travel agents are there? They're gone because we go online and use technology. How about a taxi cab driver? I mean, you can't impact really. Uber, Lyft, anyone? I was in Napa this weekend. We took Uber to a big party and back. I mean, Yellow Cab just filed for bankruptcy. Technology's entering every aspect of American business. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, it impacts us. He wanted to be the Amazon of real estate, which, by the way, so probably the best way to explain what EXP is this analogy right there, the top one, Netflix and Blockbuster. Blockbuster had thousands of locations. They put Hollywood Video out of business. They were the second place competitor and left Blockbuster as the standalone 800-pound gorilla in the marketplace. What happened? Within years, they were a $6 billion with a B company, no competitors. This would be like Coldwell Banker putting everybody out of business. And if you bought or sell a home, you did it through Coldwell Banker. Would that be pretty powerful? That's what Blockbuster did. Please raise your hand if you ever went to a Blockbuster and got a thing. Look around the room. Everybody in the whole room. I mean, when you start a business and everybody in the room has been to your business, you're either Taro from McCooney's, right? Or you're Blockbuster. You've done really well. So Netflix says, hey, you don't need thousands of those commercial locations and all the heat and cool and insured employees and inventory and just cash registers and computers and just all the telephone systems, all that overhead. Just point and click, get your what you want online. Sound familiar? Blockbuster says no. 5 years later, they bankrupt the $6 billion company. What you got to understand is they didn't pick off Kodak or IBM or Pan Am. They didn't pick off a struggling company. They took down Google. They took down, Apple. I mean, they were absolutely at the zenith of their success, and they didn't exist in 5 years. That's how quick this world's changing. And that's what's happened with EXP. Amazon's been doing it to everyone. I can tell you stories there, but EXP is doing the same thing. We're cloud-based, point and click. We're not buying houses, but because we're cloud-based and we don't have the overhead, we do things for agents and brokers that the big brokerages simply cannot do. Somebody asked me the other day, are you worried about Coldwell Banker or Remax or Keller Williams, the big three, Century 21, copying you? I go, they can't. Because they have big offices. We don't. We have no desk fees. You can work from anywhere. Cuts the overhead of brick and mortar, and we don't have the big expensive commercial leases. So we put our money into agent support and technology that gives you leads. Anybody, you can have a pretty office and no business, or you can go find an office, and we have probably 40 locations in Sacramento. There are offices everywhere. You're not working from your couch. Myth number one, you will not work from home. I'll explain that later, how we achieve that goal. But number two, what if we could give you 10, 15, 20 additional sales this year? Would anybody like that? 5, 10 more listings, 5, 10 more buyers. And so we show you how we do that. The way we do it is through lead generation. I spent 12 years at Remax. They had a product called Main Street. I never got really any leads from that. I spent 8 years at Keller Williams. They have a product called, what was their product called?
E-Edge.
Thank you, E-Edge. And it doesn't kick out leads. EXP, our product's called KV Core and Commissions Inc. And specifically KV Core, they purchased a company called Conversion. What happens when you're highly successful? You get bought eventually, right? You ever heard that one? KV Core bought Conversion with a K, K-U, Conversion. Conversion, when you learn how to use it, will give you 20 to 40 leads a week, not a month, a week. You will sell more real estate. End of story. It's a whole other seminar to show you how that works. You can Google KV Core and go look at it today. Now here's the deal. If you go to KV Core on your own, everybody, they're huge. There are Coldwell Banker agents that use KV Core now. Remax agents, Berkshire Hathaway, Intero, Keller Williams agents that use KV Core now. If you approach them, call them later today. Just call the company up. $1,000 to set you up, and you will sign a contract for $6,000 to use their platform this year to see if you like it. Well, Glenn Sanford went to KV Core and said, I want 14,000 platforms. And when you get 14,000 giant tables like this, when you buy onesie, you get the onesie price, right? But he said, I'll take 14,000 projectors. You get economies of scale. I don't know what KV Core charges EXP, but it's way less than $6,000 a year. Do you all agree? So instead of $600 a month, we have a tech fee through EXP. It's $50 a month. No startup fee. And you get the same thing that everybody else pays, a $1,000 startup fee and $6,000 a year for $50 a month. You ever wonder how people sell 50 homes a year? 100 homes a year? 200-300 homes a year? The elite teams, you ever wonder how they do it? They do it with bulldozer toys. What do we do? Door knock. Do an open house. Do some flyers, you know. My dad, where's my dad? Raise your hand. There's my dad over there, everyone. When I was a kid in the 80s and 70s, we would lick envelopes and put stamps on them and mail 200 or 300 around the listing, right? I remember that. And then his accountant go, well, write off the kids as your employees, right? Dad, my tongue's got gooey stuff. Just keep licking, kid. Anyways, abuse I suffered at their hands. And go to my therapist. Now, just kidding. So we're going to help you do more business. Anybody like that idea? Number 2, we're going to train you because we have 4 pillars. Number 1 is leads. Number 2 is training. Number 3, we're going to make you an owner through stock awards. And number 4, we're going to share the revenue because you're an owner. So that's an overview of what I'm about to go through. So the second thing is training. We offer 5 to 10 classes every single day. They're not recordings, they're live. You can raise your hand, stop the instructor if they call on you. They may say, I'll take questions after class. And but 5 to 10 a day. Last week there were 13 in one day. 13. Can someone please raise your hand if you know a brokerage here in Sacramento that does 5 to 10 live classes every, see we have a seat open up over there. We have 5 to 10 classes every day in Sacramento. Which brokerage it is that's doing 5 to 10, sometimes 13 classes a day? Now some of you are going, well my gosh, how am I going to sell real estate if I'm going to all these classes? Some of you will go to 1 class a month because you know what you're doing, right? Some of you are like, well, I'm brand new. You should go to 1 a day, maybe 2 a day, right? You can invert that learning curve. So whatever you need, if you need business planning, we have it. If you need luxury marketing, we have it. If you need a listing presentation class, like what do I do when I go to a listing? We have it. If you need a buyer contract class, we have that. Goal setting, sales, how to build a team, we have it every week in the cloud. It's really cool. So we arm you with leads. We train you at the highest possible level. And it's really up to you. If you don't attend the classes, you're going to get 0 training, right? My daughter went to her first day at school today at William Jessup. And she got accepted last week. And yes, I cried on the phone when the administrator called me. I'm a big blubbering fool. Literally like, you know, it's pretty cool. Because I applied to go to college and was turned down again and again and again because I went to a private Bible college up north, Chico State. Anybody heard of it? And they go, we have standards here, and you don't even qualify for this beer-drinking crazy place. It was my 3rd time I got in. And I said, no, I will succeed. 2 years later, I dropped out. But I got in. Chalk went up for me. So my daughter's like, yes, there's hope for the Gove family. She said, well, today's her first day at school. But if she doesn't go to school, William Jessup isn't going to help her. Do we all agree? You're going to grow as much as you want to grow, or you can not grow and fail. It's up to you. So leads, training. Next, this is the club. That's an actual picture of it. This made me want to quit EXP the second I saw it, personally. I was not attracted to that. I'm not a video gamer. This is an avatar world. Here's Rick Gonzalez from NWFL, Northwest Florida. Here's Mary from Oregon, and this is somebody, staff. This is actually an EXP employee. These are other EXP employees. You can walk up to them, talk to them, they'll talk right back to you. They're cartoons. I get it, it's weird. We have 250 full-time employees in the cloud. Accounting, technology, agent services, the transaction team, brokerage operations, wherever you want to go, they're there, and they'll wait on you hand and foot. This is the cloud, okay? This is how we can do what we can do. Now, here's how we make you an owner. Did anybody ever go to Alliance lately and go, let us show you how we can make you an owner? Anybody hear that one? Go to Intero. Now, you can buy an Intero franchise and be an owner of that particular franchise, but you don't own Intero. Gino, Blafari, I can never say his last name, he owned Intero. He sold it to the guy Warren Buffett. Anybody heard of him? And he made millions because Gino was the owner of Intero. People owned little bitty franchises, right? A friend of mine bought the Roseville franchise in 2010 and closed it in 2012. He was an owner of an Intero, but it didn't work out for him. It opened and closed. This happens, okay? The Keller Williams on Howe Avenue opened and closed. The Keller Williams in Auburn opened and closed. Sometimes things don't work out for people. So here we're going to make you an owner, not of a little itty bitty franchise that may or may not make it, but of the actual company itself. How many would like to be an owner of Coldwell Banker, owner of Keller Williams, the actual Keller Williams International? Now, you know who owns Keller Williams International? How many Keller Williams agents? None. Gary Keller owns the entire company. He bought out Dave Williams in the 80s. He is a billionaire. How about RE/MAX? Who owns RE/MAX? Nobody. Well, actually, he put it out on the open market. You can actually buy stock in the company now. But Dave Lineker, the founder of RE/MAX, owns it outright, and now you can purchase some stock from him. But he's a billionaire. The agents themselves, there's no stock awards. There's no way to become a shareholder. So let me show us how we achieve powerful agent ownership. By the way, that's our stock over the last 5 years. What is the trend? Anybody see there? Pretty cool. And if you pull up Realogy, pull it up. They own Coldwell Banker, Prudential, I think went out of business. Century 21, they own some of the older brands. The Realogy, it's a billionaire hedge fund. Here's what their stock looks like for a year. Like that. I mean, it's just plummeted all year. The brand is old and tired. Pull up RE/MAX. Here's what RE/MAX looks like. Pull it up today yourself over the past year. Here's RE/MAX. Like that. It's a complete rainbow. If you pull up Redfin, a tech company, cloud-based Redfin, they make agents employees. We'll pay you $60,000 a year. You're going to work 40 to 60 hours a week, and you have to respond so quick. And most Redfin employees I've met get very stressed out after a couple of years and go, it's not worth the money. But their stock went all year. It spiked and it went boom. In the last month, it's just completely skyrocketed. You pull EXP stock over last year, it just goes like this because we are excited about our company. When I was at RE/MAX, it was cool that RE/MAX was growing, but I didn't really care. I just wanted to sell 40 homes a year, then 60 homes a year, and 100 homes a year. It was great. When I was at Keller Williams, it was cool that Keller Williams was growing, but what did it mean to me if a bunch of people got in Florida and killed it? Nothing. It meant nothing to me. How about you? At our company, as our company flourishes, that means something huge to every person at this table because we own stock in our company. As the company flourishes, we flourish. Ask anybody who owns Apple stock that works at Apple. Ask anybody who owns Intel stock that works at Intel, or Google, or Facebook. They're excited about their company. That does not happen in the real estate world except for here. So how do you acquire stock? Well, we have equity awards. When you close your first transaction, does anybody ever do that every year? 35 shares of stock. It's currently trading at $15 to $16 a share. It's like $500-600 worth of stock. You know, well, that's not very much. Well, what do you get at your company? Let's see, 0 or 5 to 600. Now, when you cap, we have a cap at EXP at $16,000 a year, which most companies don't have a cap. Keller Williams has a cap, averages $27,000. So when you pay in that much, they stop taking money. They move you to 100% split. Our split at EXP is an 80-20 split. Well, I have a 90-10. I met Coldwell Banker agents in Davis who had a 90-10. I go, it's a franchise. What about that 6% fee? They go, oh, yeah. So really you have an 84-16. Y'all get that? I go, there's no cap. It's no cap. I go, if you have a 90-10, you sell a lot. You got to be top. We're the number one agents. How much did you pay Coldwell Banker last year? They go, we knew you'd ask that, $45,000. Okay, our cap's 80-20. It's not as good as your cap, but we stopped taking money at $16,000 and move you to 100%. So $45,000 or 16. I'd rather have an 80-20 paying 16 than your 90-10 plus a 6% franchise fee and paying 45. Is everyone with me? Yeah. And so that's how a cap works. Well, when you cap at EXP, you get 75 shares of our EXPI stock, which at current price we're trading at today is, was it 15 something? Anybody know?
1584.
What?
1584.
1584. You looked today.
I
Okay,
did.
so if you multiply that times 75, I think it's around $1,200 worth of stock. Now, if you subtract that from the $16,000 cap, what's it really cost you to be DXP? $14,800. Plus the $500 here for closing your first deal, $14,300. You can do the basic math. $14,300. Okay, so the cap is very competitive. The split is solid, 80-20. Around here, our average sales price is what, $350, $375, $4?
Yeah. 350.
$350. So it's going to take you 8 to 10 sales to cap. So if you do 8 to 10 sales in the next 6 months, the next 6 months you're at 100% instead of that 80-20. It's very inspiring to go knock out your 8 to 10. Try to do it quicker every year. 5 months, 4 months, 3 months. How'd you like to do it in 3 months? I cap in about 30 days every year. So I have a big team and it's just 30 days. So the next 11 months I'm at 100%. It's pretty cool. People love capping no matter what. Now, when you sponsor someone, you share EXP. Does that work? When people really talk to people, look around the room, right? When you share EXP with someone and they join, you become their sponsor. You're awarded 75 shares. Again, it's about $1,200 worth of stock currently. And if you tell 10 people, then you get 10 times 75 shares, which is 750 shares, obviously, or about $12,000 worth of stock. What if I told 20 people about it? Then you get $24,000 worth of stock. I did this 22 months ago when the stock was at $370 a share. And then I acquired a lot of stock. In the last year and a half, I've been selling homes, I've been capping, and I've been telling people what a great company this is. And we have about 35,000 shares, something like that today. If you multiply that times 1584, it comes up to about $600,000 worth of stock. Is that pretty good? Yeah. Well, it's not that much. Okay, let's compare it. 20 years at zero. You with me? 22 months, 600,000. Is that helping? Here's what people don't understand about EXP. This is about a retirement program. If you can put your phone in your pocket, it's buzzing on the table. But I know. I believe you. It's probably my phone. That's a funny thing. So here's the deal. This is a retirement program. Well, I want to retire. Fine, but how would you like to not have to work so hard? You ever run out of escrows? Isn't that the greatest feeling in the world? I got nothing in escrow. It takes you 2-3 weeks to get something in escrow, and dear God, please close in 30 days or less, and you're going without money till October. Are you guys with me? How would you like to have some cash flow there? So the next part's about that. By the way, you can actually qualify to get your cap back. If you sell 28 to 30 homes a year or more, they actually return your cap to you in the form of stock. I sell 60 homes a year. Last year, I got that award, $16,000. The stock quadrupled. It's now worth about $67,000, $68,000. Pretty cool. It's 3-year vesting. All these awards, you cannot cash them for 3 years. Not 30 years, not 10 years, 3 years, 36 months. A lot of companies have 10-year vesting. We have 3-year vesting. If you stick around with EXP for 3 years, you can cash them. So some guy says, well, that's a gimmick. I want a check for 16. Well, really, does your broker return the money you paid them with the check every year? That program doesn't exist. We don't give you a check, but we give you the stock. And I probably would have bought a hot spring spa if I would have got that check, right? An extra check, something really intelligent. We all know this appreciate value, right? Hot spring spas. Or my daughter's been bugging me to buy her a Jeep. The one I got all emotional about is at William Jessup at her first class today. I probably would have bought her a used Jeep, a little, look at my cute Jeep. I'm 18 years old. I probably would have done that. But because of this dumb 3-year vesting, it's this gimmick thing on our NASDAQ traded stock, New York Stock Exchange, I couldn't because I have to wait 3 years. Well, the stock quadrupled. Thank heavens I couldn't buy the spa or the Jeep. Do we all agree? Now let's say, well, it's not going to do that every year. Sure, let's just say it just doubles. Anybody good with math? What's 67 times 2? See, 134,000. Did I get it right? What if it just doubles one more year? By the time I cash it, it could be, who knows, $250,000. What did you pay your broker 3 years ago? Are you about to cash it like a CD and get $250,000? I mean, it's just insane. It's the dumbest thing in the world, but it's actually happening to me and many others. Marguerite, are you there? Yeah, there you are.
Yep.
Did you get that award?
I did.
And are you excited about it?
I'm excited.
Absolutely.
You know, I am a broker, so I was at 100%. Some people say, why would you give up 100% to go to 80-20? Well, the stock alone has been worth it, not including what you're going to talk about next.
Yes, and the best part is next. Thank you. By the way, the last part, here's the main way everybody gets awards, right here. If you're not doing the Agent Equity Program, you should. It's optional. You don't have to do it. You ever hear David Ramsey speak or Susie Orman? They go, you need to save 10% of every check. You need to pay yourself first. You all know that? Yeah, you guys all know. And then everyone says, well, I don't make enough money. How can I save 10? I need more money. And then they come back and say, look, if you're broke at 100% and struggling, you might as well be broke at 90% and struggling, right? That's what they come back and say. So we have a program where you can take 5% of your commission and purchase EXPI stock at a 20% discount. I'm like, well, it's half of what everybody should be saving, 5%. $10,000 commission, it's $500 worth of stock. So we call set it and forget it. I did that when I started. My first year, I took 5% of my commissions and purchased $46,000 worth of EXPI stock. But I made 20% on it the day I bought it. So I didn't pay an average of $370 a share. I paid about $290 a share. And it's trading at $15.84 a share.
$15.94 now.
$15.94. Went up 10 cents. So I just made $5,000 while I was standing here. This is good. Now, yes.
I was going to say, just this morning I was talking with one of my team members, and we went in and looked at her stock, and she started paying in April of last year. And for half of her transactions, she was doing that, and she had bought about $5,000 worth of stock, and then she kind of like panicked and felt like she shouldn't do it, so she had them cancel it for 8 months.
To stop doing it. So she
Right.
quit participating, but she
so-
still had the stock.
She still had the original stock, but she didn't continue to buy the 5% on like her next 7 or 8 deals. And she's so upset with herself right now because the stock that she bought in the first few months, she paid about $5,000 for it, and the average price was like $5 a share. So she had tripled her money on the original stock she bought, and look how much she missed out on the next few deals.
Absolutely.
So it's the best thing ever.
Absolutely. So I can't tell you how I have 18 agents. All my agents they all bought 3, 4, 5, 8, $10,000 worth of stock, some 15, and now they're all holding anywhere from $20,000 to $70,000 in our stock. And I'm sure as our company goes from where we are to 24,000 to 50,000 to 100, I'm sure the stock will not appreciate. Right? I mean, I'm sure it is. It's not going to happen, right? We have no overhead. We're highly profitable. The stock's not going to go. What happens to highly profitable companies like Google and Apple and Intel and Microsoft? The stock goes down.
Through the roof.
It tends to go north. So we're not supposed to say whether the stock's going to go up or down. You make up your own decision. I know this. I have 35,000 shares approximately. James, how many shares have we sold of our stock there? Zero. I could sell, well, there's 3 of us, and you can't sell any. The stock you buy here, you could sell tomorrow. There's no vesting. You bought it. The awards, they're a gift, they're a vesting. The stock you buy, you could sell tomorrow. I could make a call and sell today $250,000, maybe $300,000 worth of stock today, and just put it in my account, like everyone else at all your other companies, right? I'm not making that call. I believe in this company. I'm holding on to the stock. We are very excited about where that's headed. But here's the best part. Forget everything I just told. In fact, we'll back up. Forget everything I've told you. Forget the leads. Forget the training. Forget the stock awards. Because I watch the leads. I'm like already selling 200 homes a year with my team. Understand lead gen. Training, totally into it. We do it all the time. Stock, not my thing. I'm a real estate family, come from real estate. Wasn't even interested in what I just talked about. All that big story, wasn't even interested. I'm totally interested now. But back then I'm like, stock. This, what I'm about to show you, rocked my world. This is why everyone in this room should become a part of EXP. So here we go. It's called revenue sharing. Because you're an owner, you're going to share in the revenue for the first time in your life. How many Lions agents share? I'm not picking on Lions, but it's just a great example. There's like 1,400 of them, right? Company's been around for 50 years, right? How many of them share in the revenue of Lions Corporation owned by the Lions family? Anybody sharing the revenue there? The actual agents? None. How about Coldwell Banker? How about Remax? Coldwell Banker actually just came up with a 1-1-2. You get 1% of the people you tell for 2 years and then nothing forever. Anyways. But they're actually trying to come up with stuff. Gary Keller came out with the Keller Cloud for Keller Williams, but their cloud has no stock and no revenue share. He thinks we're all excited about EXP because of the cloud. It's actually in spite of the cloud. We're excited about EXP because of the stock and the revenue share. As business people, we want to be profitable. So this rocked my world. So here's how it works. We have a 7-generation system right here, completely copied unashamedly from Keller Williams. We're a company that was kind of grown out of ex-Keller Williams superstars. Our founder, Glenn Sanford, was in charge of technology with a small group of 5 people for Keller Williams Worldwide International. He liked the 7-generation system. Keller Williams has been sharing profits. They call it a profit-sharing system with their agents for 25 years. Did it work? They have 180,000 agents. They set all records, and no one's ever done what Keller Williams has done. It worked really well. But if you ask the agents, so how's the profit sharing going, right? I've been there 8 years, enrolled 55 people for Keller Williams, and my profit sharing check last month was $146. And here's why. If there's no profit, there's nothing to share. If there's a little bit of profit, there's a little bit to share. And we're going into a crowning market where you're going to watch profits evaporate. And EXP is about to explode. So we copy their system, but we share the revenue. Now, the revenue is a fixed number. I can tell you mathematically to the penny what you're going to earn. If you came up to me when I used to run Keller Williams Roseville with my 450 agents, go, if I refer, Bob here to Seattle Keller Williams or to Roseville, the office you run, how much will I earn? I don't know. Depends upon if he makes sales, and in the month he makes sales, if the office is profitable that particular month, and if the office isn't profitable, even though he sold 7 homes that month, you get nothing. Okay? Does that make sense? It's ingenious. If there's a profit, we'll share some. If not, you get nothing. That's how it works. They can't tell you what it is. I can tell you to the penny with revenue share what it will be, because we don't have the overhead. We don't need to pay these $50,000 commercial leases that these big companies have. So if you personally sponsor one person and they capping agent, you get $2,800. So it means you have to tell somebody who sells at least 8 to 10 homes a year. Well, we know agents in Sacramento who sell 4 or 5 homes a year, right? That'd be half a cap. It takes 8 to 10 to cap, right, in Sacramento? The cap is 16, so if they only sell 4 or 5, they're not going to cap. So it says up to, you would get $1,400. Half a cap, half the reward. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. What if someone only sells 1 or 2 homes, like a quarter cap? Then you get a quarter of the $2,800. You get how much? $700. So if there's a closing, the next month on the 22nd, you get revenue share. I just got paid about a week ago. I'll tell you what that was like 22 months later. But the 22nd of the month will be your favorite month. And so, favorite day. Now, so what happens if you told 10 people about EXP and they capped? You would get 10 times 2,800 is $28,000 for your retirement. Open a savings account, put EXP revenue share savings. Didn't you first year 28,000? Is that a little or a lot? And over a period of 5 to 10 years, is that going to add up? You mean, what about next year? If these agents are still at EXP next year, you get it again. How about the 3rd and 4th and 5th and 8th and 18th year? It's residual nature. As long as they stay with EXP, you get paid. If they leave, they're not creating revenue, so there's no revenue to share from that agent. Does that make sense? Now, well, what if they leave? Well, that's a possibility, but we're growing like crazy because we're the ones treating the agents right. Now, watch this. So if I tell 10 people I get 28,000, yep. What if I told 20 people this year? Then you get 56,000. You double that, right? What if I tell 40? Because I actually told 40 in 8 months. Well, then you get 50. So you get $112,000 your first year in revenue share. Is that a little or a lot? $112,000. I referred 40 people in 8 months. That's what I did. I did it Friday afternoons. I simply called agents between 2 and 5 Friday afternoons because I used to go golfing, go into the office, kick the tires, drink a cup of coffee, do whatever for those hours. And guess what? I said, okay, now I'm not going to talk to buyers and sellers. How about this? If I give everyone a homework assignment, go list 40 homes in the next 8 months. What are tough to find and cost a lot of marketing dollars to get? Listings, right? So listings are scarce. What are plentiful? What do you find all over Sacramento and California?
Real estate.
Agents. If you had to list 40 agents or go get 40 listings, I bet you and I could go find 40 agents a lot easier than we could 40 listings. Do we all agree? Yeah. The sad part is the 40 listings, if you got them, you get paid, you're done forever. It's like pulling your finger out of a glass of water. I mean, hopefully you get some referrals, right? But if you don't work in the next 12 months, what do you get paid? So, watch this. Every agent they tell, you get $3,200. So if you tell an agent, then they go tell 10 this next year, and they cap, you get 10 times $3,200, that's $32,000. Now, just to show you how this works, I told 25 agents in my first 3.5 months because I was excited, right? People respond to enthusiasm. And in 8 months, I'd referred 40. Now, they started telling people who told people, how many people, James, do we have on our level 2, generation 2 right now?
We have 285.
Okay, so let's say 100 cap, right? I get 3,200 times 100. How much is that? Anybody go with that? $320,000 a year just from my level 2. But those people told some people, those 200, how many?
285.
I didn't even know there were 285. Cool. They told people, how many on our level 3?
460.
460. So I get, let's say 200 of them cap of the 460. That'd be 200 times $2,000. How much is that? 400,000 a year. How many on our level 4, generation 4?
620.
Does he sound like he knows the numbers? I have no idea, to tell you the truth. Okay, level 5,
650.
level 6,
666.
and level 7, my favorite level.
475.
So let's say just 100 cap of those 475 on level 7, I get 400,000 a year just from this level. You mean you make millions of dollars a year? Yeah. And I've been here for 22 months. Oh, I don't know if that could happen to you. It may not happen to you. I don't know. But could you go tell 5 or 10 people, then they start telling some people? I thought, here's what I thought. You want to know what I thought 22 months ago? I'm going to try. This is my profound aha. Brent Gove is going to try. Here's what I thought. If it doesn't work after 6 months, I'm going back to Keller Williams. I put my hat in my hand, say, you're right, EXP didn't work, laugh away, and I go back. Except they give me a free office for a year and 100% split. Because I could talk to Remax. Remax wants me. Oh, no. Free office, 100% split for a year. Come back to Keller. You don't think that would happen? I promise you it would happen. You're going to make money at EXP whether you make money at EXP or not. Now, if you understand what I just said. So, here's a real small example. So, I know some of you are like, what did he even just say? Hundreds of people? And that couldn't happen to me. If you would have told me, like last month, as my 22nd month, my revenue share check was $187,000. Not for the year, but for the month. Is that pretty good outside of sales? If you'd have told me 22 months ago, 22 months from now, you're going to stand in front of a group and say, my revenue share check was $187,000 last month on the 22nd. And the month before, it was like 160, and the month before, 140. And March, it was 118,000. Poor Brent was on a budget. And then last December, it was 55,000, right? It's 55,000. How many love just 55,000 a month, right? I would have just said, that's crazy talk. It's crazy. I get it. So let's really dial it back. You ready? Could you tell 5 people this year with my help and the person who brought you here's help? Like, well, I don't know if I can wear a peach shirt and I have a body like his, but people are attracted to these things. He's got magnetism. But I understand that you guys aren't gifted with my body and my looks. I get that. I feel sorry for you, but it is what it is. If you're beautiful, just own it. Now, but I will help you. The person who's watching, they're just watching with you. Do you have an hour? Could you have lunch on Thursdays once a week? We do this in Elk Grove on Wednesday. I'm going to start doing it in Fairfield, Vacaville. I have 2 guests here from Fairfield, Vacaville. We're going to start in Fairfield. I'm very excited about it. And I actually have a listing for you, Evie. They want you to list their home tomorrow. So anyways, but here's the deal. We're growing. We're in Burlingame. We're in Daly City. We're in Petaluma. I was in Petaluma Tuesday. Santa Rosa kicks off in 2 weeks, the grand opening of EXP Santa Rosa. I mean, we're in 42 states now. Not EXP, me. 200 major markets. It's just like, are you kidding? I just told a few people here in Sacramento and it went nuts. You know how many agents there are in North America? 2 million. You know how many EXP? 14,000. We're about 5% built out. We actually just finally got to the credibility stage. Our stock was a penny stock. When I started 22 months ago, right, James? An OTC stock. Ask your stockbroker, over the counter. Why is it a big deal that we're on the NASDAQ? You ready? How many tech companies are there in India, the Philippines, the U.S., Canada, Japan, China? There are hundreds of thousands. There are actually millions of tech companies in the world. Do you know how many are traded on the NASDAQ? I mean, you just say, oh, that's people are like, you know how many traded? 103. Do you know who the 103rd tech company is to get uploaded to the NASDAQ and trade? There are more companies on the NASDAQ, but 103 tech companies, EXP. Of millions, there's only 103. We're the 103rd. This is a big deal. Our company's now valued at almost $1 billion. We started 9 years ago, not 30 years ago. We shattered the Remax and Keller Williams records. It took them 20 years to where we've gotten in 9. Why? Remax and Keller didn't make their agents owners. We do. Remax and Keller don't share the revenue with their agents. We do. Remax and Keller cannot copy the model because they have bricks and mortar and overhead. Travel agents couldn't be Travelocity. Borders Books couldn't be Amazon. And I love Borders Books, but they're gone. My favorite thing to do if you're depressed is go see a travel agent. You get there's a whole wall of Tahiti, Hawaii, right? I mean, has anybody ever gone to a travel agent left depressed? You leave with an armful of brochures. You're like, I got to go to Cancun. Look at the white beach and the turquoise water and the thatch. Anybody with me? I mean, there's certain places that make you happy, but the travel agents are gone. Things are changing with you. Like at the turn of the century, there were 700,000 horse and buggy drivers. And when Henry Ford came out with this backfiring thing he called a car, they wanted to make him outlaw. This is crazy. We need to get back to basics, horse and buggy. Who's glad that we didn't stay with that? Yeah. What happened to all those people? They were integrated into building cars and other things that created. Could you tell 5 this year? If they cap, you get $2,800 a person, which is $14,000. If one of them tells one person and one of them tells 2 this year, they're on your tier 2, you get $3,200 an agent. Remember tier 2? $3,200. And so you get $9,600 here, plus your $14,000 here. That's $23,600 outside of stock awards and other things. Your first year. Could you do that? Again, I'm like, well, I'll try it. I don't know if it'll work. I'm going to try it. It's working for everybody. James and I did a golf trip last week in Las Vegas. Raise your hand if you were there. Handful of people. We said, hey, fly out if you want. Come check out. We're expecting 120 people to fly in from all over the country. At our cocktail reception, we had 177. The next day from 3 to 6, we had 243. The third day, we had over 300 show up to our golf trip. We literally went golfing, swam, spa, hung out. People flew in from all over. And there was no invitation. There was no Facebook. There was no promoting. It was all word of mouth. 300 people flew in from all over the country. It is absolutely exploding. This is called a relationship capital. You have it nationwide. What do you mean? Do you have a friend in another state or city? A relative that does real estate? My whole world was Roseville. Where are you from? Fairfield, Vacaville? That was your world. What's happening in San Diego real estate? What's it matter? You're not San Diego. What's happening in Miami or Canada with Canadian real estate? Where does it matter? You're not in Canada. None of us cared. I care now. I'm in every province of Canada that we're in. We're in 3. I actually, so I can get it right. British Columbia, Alberta, and I think it was Ontario. That's right. There are other provinces, but those 3 provinces are the highly population density, and almost all the agents are in those 3 provinces. We're in those 3 provinces. Vancouver's a part of British Columbia, I believe. I'm learning my Canadian geography. Why do I care about Canadian geography now? Because I have agents up there and I get revenue share. It's really cool. And we're booming. I mean, this thing is huge. Your whole world is about to change. North America is going to become your real estate footprint. North America. No way. Just check it out. Skeptical, great. I was skeptical after I saw this. And they said, if you're crazy, get on your plane and fly to San Antonio because we're doing our annual convention next week. Friday night, I bought 3 round-trip tickets. One for James, one for Barry and myself. Spent $2,100, and we went there to interrogate people for 3 days. We came back and moved my business from Keller Williams to EXP. Well, we'll end with this. We manage everything through a back-office dashboard called EXP Enterprise. SkySlope is how we manage all the transactions. It's used by Coldwell, Banker, Remax, Keller, and Taro. Everybody's using SkySlope. CRM, lead generation, branding, marketing, workplace by Facebook is how we do a lot of this stuff. His goal was to be the Amazon of real estate, and Real Estate Trends called him the Amazon of real estate. Glassdoor, which is a huge deal. If you know anything about Glassdoor on the internet, best place to work 2018 Employees Choice Award. Market Watch, I mean, join the company everybody's talking about. There are the details from Analyticals. We finally got here. 80-20 split, $16,000 cap, then you go to a 100% split. Marguerite, you get there real quick every year, right?
Yeah, and I just wanted to throw in one thing too about the revenue share. Is that last week when I landed in Vegas, the first email I got was regarding 2 transactions, $40,000 in commissions that were falling out. Rough day, right? Like, we've all been there. It's super stressful to have that happen. The next email that came in was my revenue share for the month, which was $10,200. So the fact that I had $10,000 coming in made that $40,000 loss
Not hurt as bad.
not hurt as bad, because I knew I could at least pay my mortgage, pay my car payments, put food on the table, do what I needed to do to take care of my bills. And that, for me, after 24 years in this industry, has made this the best decision I've ever made, because it smooths things out a little bit for you. So it's not so stressful, and that you
Yeah,
have
it's
that
okay.
commission break.
Totally fine. It happens to all of us.
So,
Thank you. Great point. Great point, Marguerite. Alan's in the back there. Alan, you had an independent franchise or independent company. You had 3 offices in the Sierra Foothills,
4 total.
and your company was called,
Sierra Heritage Realty.
and now it's Sierra Heritage Realty, brokered by
It's
EXP.
actually just EXP,
Oh, really? Okay, all right. So you gave up the liability
right?
and increased your opportunity.
Absolutely.
How do you like it? You had how many agents at your company? 20-something?
27.
And you brought everyone over to EXP?
All but 4.
Okay.
Yeah, all
And why did you come to EXP? As a guy who had your own independent thing going, you're rocking it. You personally sell 60 to 80 deals a year, maybe?
Yeah, close to 100.
Who's counting? what did you see in this model, Alan? You've been around the block.
Well, 2 things. Training for my agents was unbelievable. I couldn't compete. I just hired a full-time trainer and was contemplating hiring another to come in and help me get my agents trained and really give them a better opportunity. And I looked at EXP World and the training that they offer on a daily basis. That blew my mind. That was really impressive. Andy, my sponsor, came in and sat down with me and actually went through that with me. I really appreciate that, Andy. Thank you. That's Andy over there.
He's a quick study.
Yeah. But the main reason for me was revenue share, because I looked at the permanency of the income stream coming in, and I'm looking at 5 years out before I semi-retire, because we never retire completely.
Yeah.
And that's what I looked at. I said, gosh, I can replace the override income that I'm making off of agents within a year, just recruiting 25 people.
Yeah.
And helping those people get 5 people. That's really my goal.
Turn that 25. I'll give you an example. I talked to a father-son team in Shreveport, Louisiana yesterday. I go, how's things going? Great. And they watch the XP thing. They're excited. They want to do XP. I go, how many agents do you have now? They go, 145 agents. And I go, how many agents do you have 2 years ago? They go, 125 agents. I go, congratulations, you've netted 20 agents in a 2-year period. They've averaged 10 agent net. I go, 2 years ago, I had 18 agents. Today, I have 3,100. And I wasn't doing it. He's excited. I would have never said that if he wasn't excited. But he goes, yeah, man, that's why we're doing this. We're bringing our agents to EXP so they can thrive. The startup fee is $149. It's something everyone can afford. The overhead, our tech fee is $50 a month. You get your website lead generation for $50 a month. The EXP monthly university fee is $35. I do want to say this. I always forget. You get the website. You do have to market the website. I give you a classic car and put it in your garage with the tarp over it. But if you don't take it out and drive it, it's useless. We're going to give you a website. You do have to advertise it. It's $5 a day, $25 a week, $100 a month. To get the 20 to 40 leads a week, you need to spend $100 a month advertising that website. There, I said it. My daughter always says, you forget to tell them, because they think they have the website and then they just get the leads. You have to market the website. It costs $100 a month to get it done. Broker review is $25 per sale. E&O is $40 per sale. Capped at $500 a year. That's all you pay. I just met a gentleman. They charge him $150 per sale, and he does 25 sales. Anybody good with the math on that? It's $4,000 a year or whatever. Now he pays $500. We're on the home stretch. There's our growth, and we actually are up around here now at 15,000. We're going to end the year. I guess there's no laser on this thing, but up at the ceiling at 23,000. If you look at that, that's a company that's growing, and that's what you're getting your stock in. We're on the home stretch. 2 minutes. Core values, we have them in bucket loads. My favorite's fun. That's why we're doing. We're having another big event in January in Scottsdale. Come out and go golf with us. Once a year, we go golfing in Scottsdale. It's our annual golf trip. Come out. There'll be 400 or 500 people out there collaborating, swimming in the pool, golfing, hitting the spa. You don't have to be a golfer to come. I think we had 40 or 50 golfers of our 300. What?
If it's 7 personal.
Oh, you do have to enroll 7 people for EXP to come. Otherwise, we'd have like 1,500 people show up. We're just not set up for that.
Do you have to do any deals? Any transactions?
Nope, you don't have to do any deals whatsoever. If you look at the owner of Remax, Mike Mobley, none of you know him, he doesn't do any deals. James O'Brien's president of the company, doesn't do any deals. Gary Keller doesn't do any deals. Dave Linger, owner of Remax, doesn't do any deals. Wayne Hall, owner of Keller, the worst thing you can do is sell real estate. I'm not saying not to sell real estate, but you don't have to. Here's the deal. Sell real estate because you need it, but build a company. Once you build a company, you don't need the money from sales. How have you just been busting your tail doing sales? Chris Okamura quit his job as the manager for Intero, and his income went gone because he's no longer the manager. He had to do an open house every day for 30 days last December. 30 open houses and 30 to see his income up to replace. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you didn't need the money, why would you? You do not have to do sales. You could simply share XP. People say, well, if everybody, listen to me. Here's what people say. Well, if everybody just recruits, who's going to sell the real estate? Fair question. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Yes.
The problem is most people just sell real estate. It's the opposite. Even though you hear me talk like this, 80% of them sell like crazy because they need the money. They have mortgages. That is not the problem. The problem is inspiring them to tell people is the problem. Now, join.exprealty.com is where you apply. This will not move to EXP, but it starts the ball rolling. We get a 45-page independent contractors agreement that show you the stock awards, the commission splits, the caps, the international growth opportunities, the little fees, the $25 broker review fee, nominal fee, the $40 for captive. All the details you get. We do not contact your broker. This is done by you later today or tonight or this weekend. Join.exprealty.com. You're simply applying, and you can just go with the yellow highlighter and really look at that 40. This is how you do. You want to do due diligence? Get this. We do not contact your broker. It's private between you and XP. Have a great day, everyone. I'll be back next Thursday right here. 12:30. We made it. 1:30 on the mark.